Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, Review Anything and Everything. And today we're getting into another Star Wars review. This is set 40755. It's an 8+ set with 383 pieces. It's called the Imperial Dropship vs. Rebel Scout Speeder. And when this set first came out, I was really interested in this set, but I was a little on the fence about the price tag at the time. I want to say that it was maybe about $45. That price hasn't really changed much. I think it's like $40. I actually paid what would have been $40 for this set on lego.com. I don't know if you can purchase it anywhere else, but I do believe that this is an exclusive to just the Lego site and the Lego stores. But I was able to use some insider points that I had, which took $22 off of the price. Now, one of the reasons why this set had interested me for a while actually is because, one, it comes with a lot of minifigures. You get 6 minifigures for the main build. You get the bonus 25th anniversary figure, which wasn't really something that interested me much, but really for the really the Stormtroopers is what I really wanted it for. And it's also nice you get the Rebel Fleet Troopers if you have yourself a nice Rebels setup. If you kind of don't, and I think there are more stuff for the Imperial side than there are the Rebel side in general for Star Wars. So for me, I really wanted more Stormtroopers. And then these two builds are actually really nice, and they actually, you know, having the piece count that they have, make this set at $40 not really a bad deal at all when you think about it, because a lot of battle packs, you know, one may not have this many minifigures, or if they do, it's maybe like 3 minifigures and like 3 or 4 droids. And I don't know if you count the droids equal to minifigures. I don't necessarily, but nonetheless, if we're just going on a minifigure count, this has as many minifigures as, say, the Imperial Star Destroyer set, which came out not all that long ago, the newer one, which is actually one of the inspirations for why I wanted to buy this set, was actually to get Stormtroopers for that. But nonetheless, this has just as many minifigures as that. But then when it comes to the builds, these are a lot more substantial of builds versus, say, a battle pack. Here you can see right here, one of the Rebel Fleet Troopers. And then taking a look at the back here, you could see the top cannon is able to detach. And then on the dropship, you're able to detach to that, I guess, the drop piece area that the guys would be on. Now, I never had any previous versions of these, though these are considered remakes. But even though these are a lot more detailed than the previous ones, and I think they look better, because I've seen images of the other ones, one little flaw they say is that the dropship doesn't carry as many guys on it as, you know, the previous versions did. Since I never had those, I can't really speak really much on it, but I do like the fact that I will now have a dropship to go along with. Like I said, for me, I'm really pairing this set with my Star Destroyer, my Imperial Star Destroyer set, which off the top of my head, I don't remember the number to it, but that one came out for 2024. So it's the latest one. And let's get into this unboxing. Okay, we got some tape on this side. I'm gonna just cut this open. Now, what's interesting for me is I had 3 additional Stormtroopers on hand, just part of my set. I have, of my collection, I mean. I have 1 now that goes with the Imperial Star Destroyer. And then now this gives me 3. So I'm happy to have this kind of little collection of Stormtroopers. So we are looking at a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bags. So, and here goes the sticker sheet right here. It's not too many, so it's not too bad. And I'm gonna get started on the build, and I will return with a completed build and my review and thoughts on this set. Okay, we are back with the finished build, and I actually found this to be a nice, as far as the build process goes, nice and easy. It didn't take long. You have 3 bags for the dropship, and then you have 3 bags for the speeder. And it comes with one instruction booklet. This one is for the dropship, and this one is for the speeder. So it's really easy. You can actually have it where 2 people put it together separately. One person building the speeder, one person building the dropship. And you can see here, these are some of the extra pieces here. A little visor, a little Technic piece, and what you see going around here, some of the extra pieces, I just threw them on there just, you know, for easy placement. This is obviously the stand. This is the studs that would go into the stud shooters. Though I always thought it was interesting of how they display the red ones with the Rebels and the green ones with the Imperial. And it seems like it should be opposite. But obviously, that's something you could do with however you want. First, let's just take a look at this guy first while we have him up here. This is this droid here. Let me check its name. So this is QTKT. I'm not really too familiar with. I'm sure that he is in some form of Star Wars lore. No different than your standard R2-D2, just different coloring for the most part. I'm not sure if the detailed print is a little bit different as well, but nonetheless, this is your 25th anniversary figure. Like I mentioned earlier into the video, I did not purchase this for him. It wasn't really a figure that I was really interested in. I was really interested in what you see in front of you. Obviously, most people are going to be, but in particular too, really the stormtroopers and the dropship. So kind of really dissecting things. I want to also make note of a thought that came to my mind too, is that I feel like it's very interesting, but when we think about the Rebels, when it comes to Star Wars, we really just think about our main heroes. You know, we think about Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, you know, Leia, and we think about the Millennium Falcon. I feel like, and this may be due to the original Star Wars movies, though they had their background fleet, the rest of the good guys, the Imperials, the Rebels, but it felt like they were just cannon fodder. They were just there to be destroyed or slapped around, like you see in the intro scene of Darth Vader coming into the mix, and they, you know, take out all those Rebel troopers. So it's interesting because though this pack gives you half of this set is for the Rebels, I feel like there's not really a good, I guess, main Rebel set for you to add on to or build onto. And I say that because, like I said, my inspiration for wanting to get this set was because I wanted to pair these stormtroopers with my Imperial Star Destroyer set, which the 2024 set, which like I said, it's a main staple of the Imperials, the Imperial Army. But anyway, let me just jump into the Rebels first, and then I'll get into the Stormtroopers and whatnot. So here you can see this guy looks a little older, a little wrinkles on his face. He has a worried face and a more, you know, confident face, like I'm doing my job face. I think that the details of the uniform should be the same on all of them, which is obviously, since it's a basic uniform, that works. But in addition, let me adjust my lighting. In addition, though, it I would assume it cuts the cost down a little bit, so that should be a benefit when you're just trying to army build. And I honestly think this set is like the perfect army builder set for the original trilogy. Here you can see she's a female, because I feel there aren't a lot of sets. It's funny, right before this set came out, I was thinking to myself, are there any sets that give you stormtroopers? And the only one I could think of, which is one I have, is the Armored Marauder set, which was for the Mandalorian. And that has a positive and negative. One, it's discontinued now, so you're not going to find it at a good price. But as far as at the time, it got as low as about like maybe $30, which would have been great for army building if you wanted stormtroopers. They gave you 2 regular stormtroopers and a martyr stormtrooper, I think it was called. Like it's like one who uses like a bomb or cannon, and he has partial yellow on his outfit, which wouldn't have been bad for army building. But you also got a Grief Karga figure in it, so that would have been great if you wanted a bunch of armored Marauder tanks. But at the same time, which I think would have been great for army building. But at the same time too, you know, that was really your only option for getting stormtroopers. Here now, you have ways of getting stormtroopers. Granted, you're also getting the rebels. So, you know, army building on this, you kind of would definitely want to have a rebels fleet or army as well to kind of go with it. Taking a look at the speeder here. The speeder looks very detailed. This part I think might feel a little funny because it's going to be wobbling around. So if you're kind of like speeding it along, it's going to probably be flopping around a little bit. So, you know, maybe if a person wanted to, what you could do is, so this sits on a 2x2 spinning plate. You could remove that and just put a stationary one if you wanted, just for the purpose of eliminating that spin. It would be an easy fix. And then you could just move this out of the way if you want to sit people down, and then you know, bring that down after the fact if you want to get rid of that. I mean, because this is a great feature when it comes to actually using it and playing with it. But as far as you speeding along, I think that's when it becomes a little bit of an issue. The detailing on it is nice. This set didn't have a lot of stickers. It's maybe about 4 or 5 stickers. So it's not over the top. The build on this is very sturdy. And this is the case with both of these builds. You get a total of 383 pieces in this set, and the builds feel pretty beefy and substantial. So, and for the price of $40, I think this is really not bad what you're getting, to be honest with you. You can see there's a control panel in there. You have the control panel up here. And then this right here can be removed and set down as a little like just shooting tower. Move these over a little bit. So it's like a little shooting tower, which is actually pretty cool because now it operates as a little kind of base station. And then this can just remain as the speeder. It does feel a little incomplete when you do that though, in my mind. This right here can be used as a storage area where once you put this back on, it's, you know, it seals it up. So you could put, if you want their firearms in there, like their guns, or you could put like the studs in there. It's up to you. They got 2 seats there. And then you have, like I said, when this is on here, this would be another seat. But if you didn't have this in there, you could just have somebody stand up in the back. Instead of using that as space, you would just have to put these guys' arms up a little bit and you could fit somebody inside there. So, or even have them face the back. Every time you try to grab these guys, the helmet falls off. Or you could have him face the back like that, so that way if the 2 guys are sitting in the front, he's able to kind of make sure no one's, you know, coming from behind. So that's an option there. So that's actually pretty cool. But like I said, this is a very nice speeder. A lot of people actually really enjoyed the speeder, and it's funny because I've heard a lot of people say they didn't enjoy the Imperial Dropship. But my thoughts with that, and we're going to get into this in a moment. First, we'll take a look at the Stormtroopers, but is one, this is so much more beefier than a previous version. And then 2, even though it doesn't hold as many, it's easy to modify it to hold more. But if you never had the older one, I think this is nice. And like I said, it's a more beefier build. And nowadays, no one really wants flimsy builds at this stage in the game. So I think with that being the case, I prefer it being a more sturdy build. So all of these are going to be the same other than the face. And obviously, by the time you got the Stormtroopers, you're not dealing with clones anymore. So they're all going to be different. I believe this is also the same one that was included in the Imperial Star Destroyer, that female. And they don't have double-sided faces, which is interesting because all of the all of the Rebel scouts had. So, but then again, the way their helmets are, you can actually see their face. So I guess that makes sense. Now getting into the dropship, and the dropship, there's two things about it that to really speak on. One, it worked. Obviously, both of these vehicles work great for, you know, this kind of dual package where you have like a vehicle for the Imperials and a vehicle for the Rebels. But the size of it, I think, works great also for army building in general, not comparing it to, say, the previous versions, but just in general as this set alone. It works great because if you had bigger sets like the Imperial Star Destroyer or any other kind of thing, maybe like I said, the Armor Marauder, if you had a couple of those, whatever the case is, and any other things that's for the Imperial Army, and you had maybe about 3 or 4 of these, it's just a good look because they're not oversized. So proportion wise, they feel great. I feel it scales well with other bigger ships, not in terms of actual scale, but just in the sense that obviously this is not going to be as big as your bigger ships, but you could have a whole fleet of these things just dropping guys off. Now, obviously these are not intended for space travel, but you know, for someone who's just playing with them, that's not really going to be a big deal. This part comes off. So essentially what you would have is you would fit 2 stormtroopers to sit down here. Can you have them stand? You can actually have them stand if you want to, which actually, you know, you could do it either way. Stand or sit. You could do it either way. But I'll take this one off for a second because I'm going to show you the feature that this thing kind of can. I don't know if it's meant to do that, but their heads get in the way, so maybe not. But yeah, this right here is able to deploy, drop down, and then the guys can just get off of it and run. And the only thing that becomes, like I said, an issue to modify is if you were to try to make this base a little wider, then you could fit a little bit more stormtroopers. Now, granted, this one only comes with 3, but if you have a few more in your army, then you could modify this for that purpose. I don't think it's a big deal that it only carries 2. Obviously, you have a spot for your this one who would sit here. I'll take him out because he's already got his bent legs. I'll take his firearm or his blaster off. And you see he can be, and you gotta kind of lean him back. Does he fit in here? Or does he have to have his helmet off? He might have to have his helmet off to actually lay inside here. That is definitely something. Yeah, so they need to have the helmet to at least for what I'm seeing to get him in here. The helmet needs to be off. Yeah, this is not gonna fit otherwise, I don't think. Well, let me try this again. If they don't fit on with the helmet, that's kind of not good because, okay, yeah, he fits with the helmet. Okay, I just had to angle it right. And then here you have a clip for the guns. Now, I don't know if you could put this one's gun on there, and then these other ones who are standing on here could just have their guns in their hand, because obviously once they get, you know, down from being deployed, they're gonna go straight into battle. So you could have this like here, and then this gun sitting off onto the side like that for your dropship setup. So like I said, I am actually a really big fan of this set. In addition to that, I really do feel that it's great for army building. I don't think the set's going to be around for long. I think it came out maybe about somewhere between 6 months ago. I'm getting it a little bit late, but it's definitely probably one of the best army builder sets, if not the best army builder set for the original trilogy. So if anyone is interested in that, I definitely recommend it for that. I'm glad I was able to pick up the set before it had retired. I don't know when it's going to retire, but it definitely gives me a few more stormtroopers, which is my main thing. Another side thought that I ended up having as well was that for the rebels, and this is just in my case, I don't know if any of you guys have older rebel ships or whatever the case is, but this, if you don't have like a rebel ship, and in my case I really kind of don't, the only thing I have is the Millennium Falcon set. I could throw these guys into the Millennium Falcon set because obviously at some point the main heroes of the Millennium Falcon are part of, you know, the rebels. So that would be my main ship for that, because that's all I really have in terms of the rebels. And in terms of the, well, you know, from the original trilogy, the Ghost is considered part of the rebels too, but that's kind of later on. As far as the Imperial goes, the Imperial army, I have the Star Destroyers, my main thing, and I'm glad it has enough space to throw all these stormtroopers in, and that's not a problem. So I'm pretty excited about that. So that's just a little, like, just, you know, kind of direction as far as what you would want to do with these guys or where you'd be able to put them. Now, some of you guys have sets that are so much older and you have all those kind of big ships that came for the rebel fleet and whatnot, but I don't. And most of them are retired now. And that makes me feel like I would love for them to create new rebel sets that way, like big ships, that way people have that they can army build with and add to that. But another set that this goes well with, I believe, is the Boarding Tantum 4 set, because that one also has rebel troops along with the stormtroopers, and you get Vader as well. So if you kind of tied that set in with the Imperial Star Destroyer, you're going to get a little bit of redundancy with an extra Vader. But other than that, I think that it pairs well with that set, along with actually the Imperial Star Destroyer. But anyway, you guys, I rambled on enough. As always, you guys, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.